Last week, we took some of these and put them in here securely.
This is a top secret strategy though, so don't tell anyone.
So did it work? Let's find out. With a blower car like this one of the biggest factors in determining how well you're going to do is what's called the DA, or the density altitude. It's a big old fancy term with a big old fancy formula. But basically it takes atmospheric pressure, temperature, humidity, wraps it all into one number for you. The biggest thing you need to know is that the higher the DA, or density altitude, the less horsepower you're going to be able to produce, because it means less oxygen in your air. And we all know a combustion engine requires oxygen to run.
I can't breathe in this thing!
It is said that for every 1,000-point change in the DA, it equals 1/10 on the drag strip. So if you're running an 11 seconds flat, and then your next run, the DA goes up 1,000, you're going to run pretty close to 11.1. So how do we adjust for these changes? The good old weight system.
And we want to pump you up.
It's common knowledge that the heavier something is, the more power it's going to take to move. In retrospect, the lighter something is, the easier it is to move. Your car on the drag strip is no different. If we add 100 pounds to your car, you're going to lose 1/10 in the quarter mile. If you take away 100 pounds, you're going to gain 1/10 in the quarter mile. Now, it's pretty common knowledge that for every 100 pounds equals 1/10, one way or the other. But there is some variables in there. It's not an exact science, but it's pretty darn close. So I needed to get a baseline run on my car without any weight added. So my first qualifier, I went out, the DA was sitting at 36.68. Unfortunately though, this has happened before, I got a little antsy. I blew the red light so bad that it didn't even give me a time, so it was a waste of data. No run info whatsoever. But I went back out later on in the evening, about 4 hours later, the DA had dropped, and I went out there and made a pass. This time I got the light.
Alright, so second run. Second qualifying run. Wait for the yellow light to blink before I release the button. Have no data for the first run, so we will see what this brings.
I ran a 986 at 135 miles an hour. This is my first baseline. This is what's going to determine the rest of my weekend as far as how I'm going to adjust the weight. Obviously, I'm going for a 10-second flat. I cannot go any faster than 10 seconds, so that is my goal. 986.8, 986.8 is a little too fast. So it rained pretty damn heavily overnight. It changed the DA quite a bit. We were scheduled for 2 qualifiers, And out the gate, the first one, the DA had already risen up to 3,026. We added 170 pounds to the car, which is all we had for this trip. And we wanted to get a good A-B comparison. No weight versus all the weight we have, and see what it did.
All right, guys, qualifier number 3. We were hoping to have 4 in today, but the rain prevented us from doing that. So the biggest thing right now is my best pass on my last pass was a 986. Too fast for the 10 index. So we added a little weight. DA's a little down. So we're hoping that we can pull this off and get as close to 10 as possible.
So let's recap what's happened here. Our baseline run was 9.86 with an 8. Our next run was 10.03 with an 8. The DA had gone down 406 points, which means we had a little bit more horsepower, which means we would have gone faster. So we needed to add weight, and so we added 170 pounds to slow the car down. Keep in mind there's other factors at play like wind speed and track temperature that we don't take into consideration. But did it work? Our predicted time was 9.99 with an 8, and our actual time was 10.03 with an 8. So the difference is 0.04 of a second. That doesn't seem like a lot, but it is.
All right, not going to get much time. We're going up. I'm maybe racing Sam. So we'll see how that goes. Didn't change a thing in the car. Going by the DA and I swear I keep on getting fatter and fatter.